All right, we're pretty much finished getting our layout ready for the responsive treatment, I'll call it. The only thing we have left here is the Get It Now section. I'm calling it the Get It Now section anyway, this purple area here. I suppose what we could do is we could go with the whole container approach, which is what I've done throughout most of the layout that we have here. So in other words, what I could do is I could head into index.php, and I could look for the Get It Now section or the Get It Now div. And then once again, I could piggyback off of the existing div or insert a new div. You saw that earlier on. So perhaps something like this, class equals, and then in quotes, container, like so. And then save up my work and head back to the browser and refresh, of course, and I wind up with something like this. So this is what the container is doing for us. This is kind of a decent visual example of exactly what's happening here. That's perfectly fine if you want to go with this approach, but I actually want to offer an alternative, and either approach is perfectly fine. It really depends on what you want to do. I kind of like the idea of having some of the content restricted in terms of its width or its dimension, if you will, while we have some other content that spans across the overall width of our browser window, namely the background of the header and the background of the hero section. So I think I want to do the same thing with our Get It Now section. As a matter of fact, doing so kind of ties the Get It Now section back to those previous layout areas that we have inside of our site structure. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to head back to index, and I'm going to get rid of what I just did here. Okay, I'm going to toast that and save my work and refresh my browser, of course, bringing us back to where we were. What I'm going to do instead, very simply, is I'm simply going to shove this text in from the left a little bit, and I'm going to shove this call to action, this orange button, in from the right a little bit, to center them a little bit better inside the Get It Now section. Very, very simple. How am I going to do it? That's even simpler. I'm going to head back to style.css. I'm going to look for Get It Now, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for his padding right there. Top, right, bottom, and left. So right and left are both set to 40 pixels. I'm going to change that to 150 pixels for both, just like so, okay? Save up your work, back to the browser, and refresh, and that's all there is to it. So all I'm saying is, hey, throw in 150 pixels worth of empty space on the inside left and the inside right of this particular area. That's it, okay? So that's what I'm going to go with anyway. And as far as the rest of our layout is concerned, it's, like I say, ready to roll. It's ready for the responsive treatment. If there are any other adjustments or tweaks you'd like to make, now would be the time to do so. The only other thing that I want to mention, and I just happened to catch it while I was back here editing the Get It Now ID selector, is the sidebar. We toasted the sidebar in the previous exercise, didn't we? What about all of the properties for all of the sidebar-related rules? Well, you can leave them in there if you want. You can toast all these properties. It's really up to you. I'm going to leave them in there because, again, I want to future-proof my layout, okay? But again, it's entirely up to you. More importantly, though, as I say, our layout is now ready for the responsive treatment. So what we'll be doing next is preparing this guy for tablet devices.